East Africa actually going to be safe in 2027 and beyond or not? We need to talk about it, nothing held back. By the end of this video, you're going to know if you can actually have some type of long-term stability in East Africa, or if you should view it more as a place to vacation, to visit, but hold your residency and stability elsewhere on the continent of Africa. So the short answer to is East Africa safe, talking about Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, the short answer is technically maybe, yes, but a lot of things have changed, especially leading up to the year 2027, where Kenya is going to hold their presidential elections. Now, Uganda is also going to go through an election cycle just a year apart from Kenya, and so you're going to see a lot of things shift. Tanzania just went through an election cycle as well just last year, and so there are a lot of changes that are happening throughout the region, but we cannot forget the fact that African diaspora are literally flocking to Kenya right now. It's probably the top hub in East Africa, while secondarily looking at places like a Rwanda, potentially a Tanzania for vacation, and then obviously a Mauritius with their 10-year visas and residencies for true sustainability. And if you're looking at this through the lens of an entrepreneur, an investor, a retiree, somebody in technology, somebody who holds a high remote income, then you have to look at this through long-term sustainability and wealth preservation. We are not looking at sensational headlines, although we do need to pay attention to what's happening, because here is the data-driven, boots-on-the-ground breakdown of what safety and mobility actually look like in East Africa right now. Now, literally today is May 20th, and recently, I think it was just yesterday, the State Department put out an alert. The U.S. State Department literally said you have to be careful going to Rwanda because of an Ebola crisis, which the World Health Organization has said is going to be a worldwide emergency right in the middle of the continent of Africa, between Congo, Rwanda, Uganda. Of course, Ebola has a 50% death rate and should be taken very serious. And so this may impact some of your travel plans, whether you're like, yes, Ebola is happening, or no, it's not happening the way they say it is. At the end of the day, if it is happening, no matter how it originated, it can totally impact you if you have children, if you're just a person who wants to live and doesn't want to be sick. And so that does add just a little bit of unsustainability in the region, but that does not mean you should shut the door on somewhere like Rwanda. It means just pay attention, keep your eyes open, watch some of these YouTube channels and see what's actually happening, talk to people on the ground, and then obviously have a secondary country that you are interested in, probably in Southern Africa, because it's going to be a little bit more affordable and easier to fly to Southern Africa, like South Africa, like Namibia, Botswana, Mauritius, Seychelles. It's easier to get to these regions rather than to go back up to North Africa or the Middle East, which is completely unstable right now, or even West Africa. And let's talk a little bit about Kenya for a moment, because the recent images of Nairobi being on fire are quite frankly insane, with protests about the French President Macron coming into the country and investing. But here's the expat reality. The daily life of an expat in secure enclaves like Karen, Westlands, or Gijiri remains highly functional, safe, and sophisticated. The infrastructure is top tier. Tech hubs are booming, restaurants are booming, and day-to-day operations are still running smoothly as long as people know when and where to stay out of those areas. Now, this is the safety playbook that you need if you are traveling to Kenya. Avoid the Central Business District, CBD. We always tell people on this channel, we have been outside of America, on the continent of Africa, for 6 years consecutively, 3 years in Tanzania, 3 years in Mauritius. And so we always tell people, you should not want to be in the main city, like in the center of the main city anyways. Like if you're in a Nairobi, if you're in a Dar es Salaam, if you're in a Kampala, you should really be on the outskirts of that city. Even where we are in Mauritius, we're like outside of the main city, and that is for good reason. One, we like peace. We don't like the hustling and bustling of the city, but also when protests and things occur, they always happen in the main city. And so you want to be a little bit away from that, in a nice suburban, quiet area where you can live your life, build your business, have your family, whatever it is that your plans are while staying outside of the West. So So if you are looking at traveling or moving to Kenya, you can still do so. With Kenya's new electronic travel authorization and evolving tax landscape, its compliance velocity that is changing a lot in the country of Kenya. And if you're moving before 2027, it's not really about fear. It's going to be more so about logistics, about deciding, am I going to try to go for that digital nomad permit? Am I going to try to do the 5-year multiple entry permit? Am I going to try to do the class, I believe it's K permit, where you can retire if you're over age 35 and bring in $2,000 per month? But let's go back to Rwanda real quick, because I do want to add some additional comments. And before we get any further in this video, we are 5 minutes and 30 something seconds in, and I forgot to tell you about our website, www.journeywithus.movetoafrica.com. Go over to the website, read our resources, check out the Mature Adult Intensive Enrollment Guide to see if it's right for you if you are planning long-term stability in Africa. Because you and I have already been having this conversation right here. And if you like the way this conversation is going, there's a lot where this came from with our 40-page curriculum for our Mature Adult Intensive clients. We begin May 31st, literally like 10 or 11 days from now. And so this is your chance to get in the room with cohort 9. Now Rwanda, let's talk about it. Rwanda is known as being the safest, cleanest country in Africa, and they have a great business angle. Like, I just looked at some of the investment websites here in Mauritius, and they had a Mauritius and Rwanda business summit, and so I was just like, oh, all the Pan-African vibes. They had like a Mauritius, Zambia, Botswana, Namibia summit, and so the continent is full of opportunities for you, especially if you are going to be in the regional anchor of East Africa, which is clearly Rwanda. Now, for digital-first startups, entrepreneurs, and remote workers, Rwanda's digital governance makes establishing residency super easy and seamless for you. It acts as the perfect calm base camp to operate regionally. Now, remember what I said about Kenya. If you're living on the outskirts of Nairobi, in the suburbs and quiet areas, it's probably fine in Mombasa, I imagine, of course, as well. And so the same thing goes for Rwanda. If you're outside of the city, if you're paying attention, if you're practicing hygiene best standards, and you're not in close contact with people who have Ebola, you should be safe. But the reason that State Department warning actually went out is because they see Rwanda as this regional hub, because they technically didn't issue the State Department alert for the Congo or for Uganda, even though those are the two places where the cases are being seen in. Instead, they issued it for Rwanda because so many people fly in and out of Kigali. And so just be aware of that. Don't necessarily do like a full lockdown on yourself, but just understand and be aware. Maybe take your children out of school for a time and just pay attention to what's going on. But at the end of the day, the continent is still much safer than America. Things that are mandatory when we talk about living in East Africa. I mean, I lived in East Africa, birthed children in Tanzania for 3 years. Here's number one, and this is like what applies for our family as well. The neighborhood premium is mandatory. In major East African hubs, safety is completely hyper-local. Budgeting for premium, gated communities, heavily secured expat neighborhoods is not a luxury, okay? It's the baseline requirement for operational peace of mind. And if you were to do any research on the things that have been happening recently in Tanzania in October 2025, then you would know exactly what I'm talking about. So yes, you can still live there. Yes, you can still vacation there, but do not go in with your eyes completely closed. Number two, diversify your digital financial stack. You do not want to be locked out of the banking system. Believe me, it's happened to us before in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We were locked out of one of our accounts, which is why we instruct our clients to have 5 to 7 specific accounts to invest in certain areas before they ever touch down on the continent of Africa. We say this in almost every video, that you need to start your preparation before moving to Africa. If you wait till you move to Africa to prepare for the journey that you're having currently in Africa, then you're already behind, and it's already going to cost you thousands of dollars, energy, stress, time, all of the things. Now, understand, with regional currencies fluctuating and local governments tightening monetary policy, you do not want to rely on a single local banking mechanism. Keep your primary capital stack external or in hard currencies. This could be USD, this could be Euro, this could be Won, this could be the Australian dollar, this could be XRP, this could be whatever currencies and stuff that you want to hold in. You can be investing in gold, oil. We're heavily invested in oil. There are a lot of different things that you can be invested in and diversifying your money so that it's not only stuck in a local market. And third, this is so important. Maintain complete political neutrality. And so you should not be at any protests. You should not even be posting online about protests, about you taking this side or you taking that side, because the current friction in East Africa is deeply tied to sovereignty, colonialism, foreign alignment, and domestic tax policy. As an expat or foreign business owner or retiree, you need to be strictly neutral, okay? You have to divest from all of the political things that you wanted to do in America. This is not the time to come and start your new political career. Instead, focus on your business, focus on your retirement, focus on your family, your marriage, your children. There are lots and lots of things to focus on. Build local talent, invest in infrastructure, and stay, again, entirely out of politics, okay? So you're seeing all the headlines. Kenya's on fire. This is happening in Rwanda, Congo, all of this stuff. Here's the verdict. East Africa is not deteriorating. It's growing up. It's going through a growth stage. It's going through the colonizers deciding how they want to invest or divest in East Africa. You have the British, you have the French, you have the Dutch, you have a lot of different players in East Africa. We didn't even touch on Saudi Arabia, Dubai, all these ancient kingdoms across the Swahili coast that have all had their hands in East Africa, okay? But the friction we see right now is the birth pains of a continent demanding better terms for their people. For the visionary expat or the business owner or the retiree, moving here before 2027 offers unprecedented access to one of the fastest growing frontier markets, provided that you respect the local context, keep it calm, keep it cool, keep it collective, okay? And come with an adaptable, resilient strategy. If you're leaning more towards a fast-paced economic hub like Nairobi, leave a comment down below. If you want more of an island life, like something like Zanzibar, Seychelles, Mauritius, leave a comment down below. Or if you're like, hey, I want to be in the interior of Africa and I want to be in Rwanda, leave a comment down below and let me know, because I'm truly interested and I want to hear your thoughts and what countries you are thinking about living in Africa. Then let me know down below as well, which countries would you like me to cover next on this channel, or what facets of life on the continent should I cover that you have questions about. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the next video.